Hey guys, welcome back. It's Lucid. We're jumping back into our game with Hinnom. It's turn 31 and we're getting very close to where I am in real time, at least at the time of recording. It'll be probably months later by the time I put it up on YouTube, but yeah, turn 31. So, an assassination attempt. We've got, oh no, an Akka with my Thistle Mace. I had to alchemize gems to make this. This is an expensive Thistle Mace. Okay. I don't think we're going to make it, but we could do it. This mace actually isn't a horrible weapon. We can poison him. Enlarge. Nice. A lot of HP. That's a good first spell. Alright, knock the shit out of him. Come on. 2. Did we poison him? Oh man, he hits me with both his things. It sucks. He could still die from the poison, maybe? Are you kidding me? That means there's a chance he gets my Thistle Mace, too. Okay, he assassinates my commander, which I thought I had bodyguards on this guy. Maybe I didn't. Okay, coming down here. Holy shit. So, okay, we're attacking him into a little province with a little bit of tiny province PD, but he moved all his burning ones. Now, we have our ethereal, or our astral army. He's probably going to get the full treatment of... problem is we're going to be fighting burning ones, and being astral is not terribly helpful for that. Large, Legions of Steel. We really need Iron Skin. Iron Skin would kick us into high 30s. If we had that, I think we could win here, but we don't. Astral Shield's going to be nice, but I think these guys... I forget, I need to check their Bless. I forget if they had an MR component. I think they do. Yeah, MR2. So 16 MR is pretty high. Okay, our fluffers escape. That's a good start. These Horites are going to get murdered, but they've done their job. Fatigue, we're at 51, which isn't great. Okay, we're taking way too much damage. We're going to die. These burning ones hit pretty hard. Once they're all berserk, 28 damage a hit, with piercing half the time, which means it's going to cut my armor by 20%. Just not enough. I guess I wasn't thinking it was going to be a full commitment to burning one attack. I was... That's kind of shitty. So we lost yet another Milkwort. And the astral ones are super useful too. The fire ones are actually the least useful ones, and those seem to be the ones I'm getting, or at least the ones that aren't dying. Okay. So... we successfully raid. So the lake is now ours. We have the Forest of Gun, and yeah, we have managed to. I think this was kind of unexpected when we moved our whole army here, so that worked. Now we do have an important development in diplomacy. So two things. One is Sarmatia did end his nap, and Abysia, upon hearing it, has contacted me and said, hey, would you be willing to make peace? And I was like, no. Well, I was thinking no at first. Because I'm not attacking him because I think he's a good target. I'm attacking him because we need to beat him back. He's too big. And so what he proposed was that I get some land in addition to making peace, which, I'll be honest, is a little surprising. It's not something that often happens when... you're losing a conflict. Like, I'm definitely losing, but I'm not losing badly. And Abysia is very large, so I think he is more comfortable shedding a little bit of land, and then hopefully having a winning engagement against Sarmatia than he is against fighting me and Sarmatia. Because eventually he's going to run out of burning ones, potentially, and then once he doesn't have burning ones, we will be able to chew through everything else. So that I think is his thinking. But the price for this nap actually is quite high, and it's going to be in a message in the next turn that confirms it, but you can see we're already going to be making moves for it. Basically what's going to happen is that I kind of laid out the conditions he asked me what I would be happy with, in terms of what would make me happy enough where I would enter into a long-term nap. And I told him I would want 109, which is a very high-value province. I want to keep the lake, which was mine. He could have this back. Which is not a super valuable province so far, at least. I don't know if he side-searched it. I would want my original provinces back here. And here, which he's currently raiding. And that was it. And then what happened was, he said... So what I was telling him was I would do a nap 6, which is way longer than I would normally do, for a year, at which point it would revert to a nap 3. And I think he was uncomfortable with giving up a fort that... I mean, most people don't... It's very difficult to get a fort handed over as part of a peace agreement. I mean, it happens, but... he was uncomfortable, I think, giving up a fort for what potentially could be a short-term peace agreement. But I didn't want to make a longer-term peace agreement where he could potentially eat up all of Saramatia and I have my hands tied, because I don't really want to break a nap, and a nap 6 is already pretty long, but he wanted a longer agreement. So the final agreement that we came to was that I'll get this, and kind of all the things we already laid out. In addition, I get this throne and this province, which I didn't actually really want, but I think I'm going to take. He wants me to claim the throne, which is unfortunately the throne of misfortune. So it will spread dominion. Potentially I may put a temple up. I don't know if I will. I don't even know if I'm going to claim it. Where's the thrones? It's going to give me misfortune 1, which I don't really want as Hinnom yet until I get some of my heroes. So I think we're going to skip claiming it, though I do certainly want those 4 pearls. I want those pearls really bad. But misfortune 1 as Hinnom, I think, is... it's too much. But hopefully there's a lot of magic sites there. We can site search it. And then in addition to getting this in the lake, I'm going to actually be sizable. I won't be huge, but I'll be sizable. And I can prepare maybe to attack somebody else who I'm much better equipped for. And I will have accomplished some of my mission. My mission was to weaken Hinnom. To weaken Abysia. And I'll take one of his forts, which currently, if I were to keep fighting him, I wouldn't have done. Not quickly, anyway. Yeah, so I'll take one of his forts. I will get some of his land. He would have had potentially a port. This guy had a ring of water breathing. He would have smushed my milkwort in the lake, which I think is where he was headed. Yeah. I get to keep the lake. So I'm going to be, if you compared what Abyssia's income would have been, this will be a kind of big blow to his income. Not big, not huge, but it's bigger than it would have been. What this is going to buy Abysia is he's going to be able to move his troops off the border and take them to Saramatia, which he wouldn't have been able to do, which means he may win the war with Saramatia, whereas he may have otherwise lost. What I have to agree to for this, though, is I have to do an unconditional year 1 nap. So I cannot attack him for a year. And I need to go ahead and confirm exactly what turn it is, but basically a year after turn 31, I think. So that's turn 43 is the first time I can attack him, which is a long time. A lot can happen in 12 turns. And then after a year, it's going to switch to a nap 6. So if I choose to break it after a year, really, I can only attack him after a year and a half. So that is a really long time. He could potentially win the game by then. And I don't think if he is actually going for a throne victory, we'll see. I mean, he won't be able to even get this one. I don't think he can get a throne victory. He would have to... I mean, he'll piss off all his neighbors, and they'll all be attacking him if he tries to get all the Saramatian thrones and win. But he could definitely be in a strong position. I don't think he can get a throne victory by the time my nap expires, which is really the only reason I agreed to such a crazy long nap. But he really... I'm one of the worst matchups for him, but he is one of the worst matchups for me. So we're kind of in a mutually destructive war. Whereas we're actually better matched up against a lot of the other players. Micklin also has scared the shit out of me with putting this huge army at my borders. And so I message him and I'm asking him, why is this here? And he told me that it's headed over to this throne and that we have a nap and I don't need to worry about it. So... the other condition of the nap with Abysia is I want it to be made secret that I'm backing out of the coalition. And I do feel bad about it because Sarmatia just basically ended his nap with Abysia. And yeah, and now I'm immediately getting out of it. But in some way I kind of did my part. You know, I killed some of his stuff. I've probably killed 10 burning ones or more. It's cost me a pretty tremendous amount in terms of Melkworths, which a lot of that was me misplaying, but whatever. We've made him do huge PD dumps that cost him thousands of gold that could have otherwise been put into infrastructure. We're killing one of those PDs this turn, because I'm going to kill all the PD on top of this fort, and then I'm going to take this fort and all the infrastructure, costing him more thousands of gold. Yeah, so, and we're taking the lake from him. He's going to have, like, this province, and this province. Like, at least 4 provinces less than he would have. And then, even more than that, less than... Because I think he was kind of going to slowly win the war against me. Maybe not once Sarmatia joined. But I'm going to get an instant win, which is going to cost me almost nothing. It's going to deplete the resources of Abysia. But it will allow Abysia to potentially have a better shot at winning the war against Sarmatia. So, I don't want Sarmatia to know right away, and I feel kind of bad, but I think this honestly... I mean, this is a big blow to Abysia, losing all this land like right now, whereas it was going to be pretty hard for me to figure out how to take it back, if not otherwise, because there are assassins running around. Apparently he also got my Thistle Mace. But yeah, so anyway, now we'll talk about the turn order, or the orders I have for this turn. We're going to be moving in 2 Melkworths, and hopefully they can kill things twice as fast, which means fatigue will be half as much of an issue. We're going to be doing Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants. We're going to be moving this guy in with 2 regenerations and an enlarge, and then a retreat, and then basically they're fire Melkworths, so they're just going to do Blessing and Hold. None of their other stuff is going to be effective against Abysia, and then this guy doing Body Ethereal, which would be really good against PD. So these guys should just stomp through the PD. I don't even really know if I need regeneration, but I had to alchemize to do it, but anyway. And I ended up alchemizing one too many, but I know I'll need it later, so I didn't bother to reset the turn or anything. We're making more Sanguine Dowsing Rods. This guy we're moving to take back this province. We're using Fluffers. Now the problem using Fluffers on retreat is you will lose some of them in the retreat scripts. And that's already happened a couple times. I don't know if I've checked every time, but I know I've already lost a few. So we're coming to do this. The reason is he's told me what PD is in each of these provinces. There's a fair amount of heavy cav PD here. So we're going to be safe and do regeneration and all this stuff, and we should be fine. Though this may be a little bit overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I've already lost so much, I don't want to lose any more. He's going to be pulling these troops back. This is going to have a minimal amount of PD, so we're just going to send in some cavemen, and they should take care of it. And here we're just sending in a mage, because he was the only guy in this province with troops. And this is only 1 PD, so we can take it with almost nothing. So that's basically it. This guy we're going to search this turn, and the next turn we're probably going to attack here. This army is going to come up this way. He's going to take this province. I've left 0 PD in it and told him, so he's probably going to take it with the scout. And yeah, he's going to move up, and then he will move on top of this force. But I don't want to lose any of these troops to the PD here. We're going to kind of clear them out with Melkworths. And this is going to open up some very important questions for me that I'm going to have to answer, which is, what am I going to do now? If Abysia or Sarmatia wins, those are both actually pretty big, scary nations, and they're going to be getting bigger and scarier. And what I need to think about now is who I'm going to attack. So in terms of my outgoing Diplo, I sent a message to Sarmatia saying, Well, okay. Well, first do a message to Machaka saying, Theodorus has a large army on my border. I'm kind of antsy there. I think I'm going to do PD dumps against abysia and just play defensive until he leaves me alone. So this is a little misleading, because I'm not doing PD dumps. And it's going to look to everybody like I'm still attacking abysia, and we're still at war. Eventually people will catch on that we're not, but I don't want to give that up early. So basically I'm saying, is there any interest in going after Theodorus? I think his population is going to be about half of what it was, which is significant, but it's not so much that it's not worth conquering. And I really don't want to have them as a neighbor. And I really want to kill them before a lot of their research comes online. And I think I have the tools to do it. Their guys kind of suck. If you have magic weapons, these guys suck. So I think what I'm going to do... The problem is I don't have a ton of money. And my Horites aren't going to be great. We'll see. I think I'm going to use my Horites mostly for for patrolling. But I might use them for cracking forts. I'll probably pull my Dawn Guard up, start Melkort's raiding underwater. I think Theodorus is who I need to go after. The problem going after Theodorus is it doesn't really give me much blood hunting land. The problem going after Mictlan is if I go after Mictlan, it gives me this really big lopsided empire. Whereas if I get Theodorus first, then I have a nice balled up empire that most people can't really challenge. Yeah. That then opens me up to, if I attack Mictlan, I can attack him on two fronts. I can attack him kind of this way, which I already kind of can do, and this way. We'll see. I think what will happen is if I attack Theodorus, I think Mictlan will attack me, and I think I'll crush Mictlan. So I can actually maybe even manage a war with two of them. I do need more Melkorts, though. So I think we're going to play it cool for a few turns. Then we'll probably end our nap with Theodorus in a few turns. And then we'll probably attack them. So anyway, this is a pretty big change. Now, my message to Saramatia is saying, I think his cap is only making assassins. So far they haven't had any gear on them, but he's gotten like 6 of my mages so far. And that's about right. I think he's gotten about 6. Maybe a little less. But what I want Saramatia to know is he's going to be relying heavily on communions, so he needs to make sure he has people on guard commander for those communions. Inaris, which are his troop that he's using, they're actually okay against assassins, assuming they do something useful, like spam out skeletons or twist fate or luck or something on the first turn, or even body ethereal. That plus having bodyguards, they should have a pretty good chance at killing any assassins coming after them. So, but it is probably pretty important they have bodyguards. The only problem with bodyguards is they don't work terribly great against flyers, and that's because the bodyguards will run forward as the flyer jumps over them and it gets the mage. But, you know, like even putting twist fate or something on them or giving them like a luck amulet will often increase their survivability long enough for, like, if they cast toward skeletons, for the skeletons to kill them or for the bodyguards to turn around and catch back up. Anyway. That is that. So I do want Saramatia to win. So while I'm exiting the coalition, unbeknownst to Saramatia, I'm going to feed him any intel I can, because I definitely want him to win against abysia. Because I'm not really super scared. I mean, on one hand, Astral Communions are pretty good against me, and he's the only nation who can really do it, I think. Strongly. I mean, Mictlan can kind of do it, Theodorus can kind of do it. No, not really. Theodorus, I don't think Theodorus is Astral really at all. Yeah. They're not really. I think they might have some astral access. No, they don't. Okay. So, yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so actually, I don't even know what Theodorus would do to counter Melkorts. I mean, we can find out by attacking him, but the only thing I don't have, and I have a ton of death gems so I could remedy it, is a way to siege down underwater forts. So it might be I need to start cranking out... I'm making an Amulet of the Dead this turn. But I think when I was making it, I was thinking more as patrolling chaff for getting my blood economy going. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I should get some Raphites, we'll see, as we start casting Reanimation. But basically, they will also be pretty good at sieging down things underwater. So I might make another Amulet in a few turns where my current turn is, another Amulet of the Undead, make a couple more Shamans right here, and then start spamming out an Undead army that's going to go knock down these forts. How many Undead can my guys carry? Only 15. I'll probably have to accompany them with a Mount King. I don't know what tricks these guys are going to pull, because they can't do... I guess... Let's take a look real quick and think about it. It's only going to be a one-turn episode, but this is a pretty important turn. Okay, so these guys are thugs, which, honestly, these guys are... Okay, so an option is they can use these guys as thugs and kill Milkworts. The kind of way I'm going to build Milkworts, because we're now going to go to the Repel Bless. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I will just crap on these guys. Okay, so these guys, I think, are basically useless. These guys, the Dactyls, they're used primarily for troop buffing. There's nothing they're going to really be able to do. I mean, Earth Melt, maybe. Water, we could do Water Elementals. Water Elementals are good against almost all assassins, but probably not Repel assassins. Especially Ethereal Repel assassins with regen. And Swarm is an option. I don't think Swarm's going to work well against Vine Shield Repel Assassin. I mean, Repel Milkworts. Yeah. And maybe I said Assassin before I went to say Milkwort, but... Anyway, I don't think these guys have any tools against me. I think I'm like the perfect nation to just stomp on them. I think it's a kind of weak nation. Some people a while ago were asking me to do a Theodorus guide. And you can do things with these guys. Like, these guys make pretty solid thugs. They have awe. They're sacred. They have pretty good thug paths. Like, the earth ones are really good thugs. The water ones are okay thugs. They're amphibians, so they can do coastal raiding. That's kind of the trick these guys have, in addition to they can have decent research with their philosophers. And then they can buff up their ghost troops to be not horrible. But that's, I think, about it. Like, they're not getting a ton of free spawn. And Theodorus does not have a lot of forts. I think it's a bad nation. But they're also pop kill, so better to kill them early. I think that's going to definitely be our plan. I don't think they have any real tools to deal with our crap. We'll see, though. He does have a Ghost King, so that's one thing I need to think about, is getting an Astral Milkwort geared up. You know, like, I need to have Ring of Water Breathing or Shambler Skin armor. The other thing, when I hit Construction 6, it's going to not only set off my research economy, but it's going to allow me to get Starshine Skullcaps, which will allow me to teleport on top of his Pretender when I see him. And that will, of course, be a great way to get this war going. I probably should also think about, before I actually declare war or start it, getting scouts as much as I can underwater, or in all his provinces, so I know where his Pretender's going to be. That would certainly be a very good way to start off the war. He has actually quite a few land provinces. I think he must have all of these. I don't know if he has the throne. I should ask Machaka that. He might have this. He probably has this also, since it's a cave. So anyway, there's a fair amount for me to take. If I take this, and then Micklin does something stupid, I can potentially take that from Micklin, and then I'm not very far from his cap. I think that's my plan, is go after these guys. I think that will trigger, eventually later, a Micklin war. and then I think I have the perfect guys to just murder Micklin. So, anyway, that is kind of how I'm thinking about it. I went through the scripts, though there's not too much scripting. And anyway, I think that's it. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a change of scenery over the next couple turns as we adjust to, basically, we're going to build up a blood economy, we're going to get Construction 6 and a real research economy going, and we're going to get ready for, I think, a war with Theodorus. And we're also going to try to feed as much information to Sarmatia as we can, so that hopefully they at least don't die quickly to abysia, and at best, they slightly win. If they are losing horribly, then we'll have to figure out what we do, but I'm not super worried about that at the moment. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you next time.